In today's Helping You Navigate Through the COVID Maze Safely video, I want to look at the biggest barrier to you actually getting through this safely. And that barrier is you. My name's Kevin Gallagher, I'm from Mental Performance Coaching, and we help business owners take control of the business so they can have more of a life. Welcome to another tried, tested and proven tip. Now for some, my introduction to this video may have pushed a button, so let me explain my reasoning. I guarantee that if you were to look around your industry, there will be people out there who are actually knocking it out of the park. So how is that possible given that they are in the same situation as you are? Now you might tell me they've had a better education than you have. That might be true. But there are people out there who've had a great education. They've got degrees, MBAs, etc. Yet they could well be struggling as well. So whilst education is really important, it's not the barrier. You could say that they've got more money than me. Yet there are people out there who are extremely wealthy. Yet they too could be struggling. So money's not the barrier either. If we're to roll back to the beginning of this crisis and take two people in exactly the same situation, a level playing field so to speak, that when COVID came along, when one of them thought to themselves, bring it on, I love a challenge, yet the other hunkered down and decided to have a plum party, poor little old me, and got themselves into the blame game. It's the government's fault, the Chinese are to blame, or it could be my upbringing that's to blame. Which of those two business owners do you think is more likely to safely navigate through the COVID maze? The truth is, the way you see and speak the world becomes your world. It's always an inside job. And I'm reminded of two great quotes from the late Jim Rohn. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And never wish life were easier, wish you were better. And I want to share with you a model that you can adapt and apply to yourself and your business that will help you transition through this crisis from a place of greater foundational strength. Just let me put myself out of the way. So here we have an iceberg. Yeah, that's not totally true. What we have here is the tip of the iceberg. The biggest part of the mass is underwater. It's hidden. We can't see it. Yet that's where the real danger lies. And it's the same for us human beings and our businesses. Our outward reflection doesn't necessarily match what's going on the inside. What we can see are the results produced by the actions and decisions taken and the behaviours displayed to produce that result. Yet our behaviours are driven by other things that lie below the waterline. Our skills, our capabilities, our knowledge. And they're driven by our beliefs about how life is, how the world works, what's important to us, what we value. And then there's our beliefs about ourselves, our identity. And all this is wrapped in an environment which can have a real effect. If you were to pull this iceberg into the Caribbean, it's not going to thrive. Now as good as this concept is, in my humble opinion, it doesn't show the true power of the model. One, because it's got a piece missing, which if you had, puts this thing on steroids. And to get the exponential effect of this concept, you need to flip it the other way. Because when you flip this upside down and add vision, purpose and why to the model, it now becomes a top-down model. Let me ask you, how can you plan on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly or yearly basis if you don't know where you're going, what your vision is? It's a bit like getting into your car and setting your sat-nav to take you somewhere. I don't have no idea where you'll end up doing that. But it's also important to know why you want to make that journey. What's the purpose of the journey? Because knowing this drives everything below. It gives us motivation, a motive to act. And once you know this, you can now create the person or the company capable of delivering on that vision. What do you need to believe about yourself, the wider world, and what would be your most important areas of focus? What skills, capabilities and knowledge are you going to need? What behaviours would you need to display? And what type of environment do you need to create for that vision to thrive and become realised? Now Einstein, he's a really clever guy. So how about if we put this principle that he's talking about here, the compound effect, with the model I've just shown you to turbocharge your results? What I want you to do is to score yourself out of 10 in each of these areas. How clear are you on your vision and why you want it? Your identity. What do you say to yourself about yourself when you're by yourself? What do you believe you're capable of? Now, beliefs are a bit like a hypnotic trance. When we're in them, it's how we see the world, it's how we see ourselves. An identity is normally preceded by words like I can or I can't, I am or I am not. How clear are you on your values? And how do you fulfill them on a day-to-day basis? What skills, capabilities, knowledge will you need to become the person capable of reaching that vision? During lockdown, what have you been doing? Been binge watching Netflix? Or have you been reading books, TED Talks, listening to podcasts? Heads up on a couple of crackers I've discovered during lockdown. Stu Waddington's Leadership Podcast and The Sales Jojo by Chris Dawson and Liam McGowan. Cracking stuff. How will you need to behave? What do you need to start doing? And perhaps more importantly, what do you need to stop doing? And what type of environment do you want to create? Who do you need to have around you? What type of information do you need to help you flourish? And if you surround yourself with negative Nellies or are constantly watching the negative news, it's the equivalent of pulling that iceberg into the Caribbean. So once you've compiled your scores out of 10, what would happen if you were to put some sort of plan together focused on improving each of those areas by just 10% and then execute on the plan? The result will be a massive 77% increase in your effectiveness, a much more powerful you. Now in tomorrow's video I'm going to share with you a tool and a way of thinking that will help you apply what I've shown here on a moment-to-moment basis. Now it only works, so give it a go. You need to take this from theory to practice to mastery, and you'll thank me later. If you've got any comments, drop them in the comment box below. Share this video with anybody you know would benefit from watching it. Thank you for taking the time to watch it, and I'll see you in the next one. Now go out there and make it a cracking day.